So I keep getting interrupted by the fan, but I wanted to try and do a recording, and I'm wanting to hopefully get base Forge's attention because I can't get anyone's attention. And it's a second Sunday for me, and I don't care what I look like. I'm not gonna get all painted up to be on YouTube. But here's my deal. Is that as much as I've seen on the dodecahedron, I haven't seen anyone get it right. I've only seen men. I saw one woman talk about it. One woman, one girl. And I commented on her stuff and I never ever heard back, which is weird, but whatever. Not really. I mean, who am I? I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I don't have a YouTube channel. I mean, I haven't really been trying too hard to really do much with stuff. I mean, I've thrown a few splatters on the wall, but if this makes it to Sean, I just want to say, mm-mm. So I will go ahead and look through this, but I have a pretty good feeling that you're not going to guess what it is. And I don't think a man can guess what this is. So we'll go ahead and play it out, and then I'll tell you what I am quite convinced of it being, because I have heard one theory, and when I heard that one theory, I went, oh, well, duh. But no one's called it out yet. So it's a pasta maker. It's a pasta measurer, because we had pasta back then. So, all right, let's go. Let's listen to what our dear friend Base Forge has to say about the dodecahedron, and then I'm a betting woman. I'm pretty sure, and I'm gonna correct you because I don't think anyone's gotten it right. So here we go.
Entire universe that could get you killed for speaking about it, and that is the mysterious dodecahedron. Recently, they found a bunch of these dodecahedron metal sculptures. They've been digging them out of ancient Rome. The dodecahedron has 12 sides, 30 edges, and 20 vertices. So if they were so forbidden in ancient Rome, why are we finding them all over the place? I think they found 110 or so of these things so far, and nobody knows what
You
they
didn't
do.
say where
Why
they
is the
found them,
best
though.
explanation?
You missed that part. Where have they been found? Where were they located? Because from the research I've heard, they've been found in women's tombs, usually of women of affluence, or on battlefield, like remnants, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure.
That we do have for them, a tool to knit sleeves or a religious artifact. We usually get religious artifact when nobody knows what they can do, so they just throw it into the religion bin. This way it sounds like they're actually onto something, but they have no idea what the hell the thing is. Now, if we look at the history of the shape, what the culture said about the shape, the geometry of the shape, what it has been used for, and combine that with our current knowledge, I think we can probably figure this one out. In ancient Greece, Pythagoras himself would wield Longclaw and chop the dome off of anyone that mentioned the dodecahedron. This is pretty hilarious because the thing that killed the most people in a single
Why would we behead people who mention the dodecahedron? I need to go back in time and see what happened in Rome during that time. And did someone do math incorrectly and accidentally have the wrong error? Oh, I'm giving it away what I think it is. Anyways, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. It's killing me. It's killing me. It's killing me, Smalls.
Was the atom bomb. Why is that relevant? Inside the nuclear bomb is an array of shapes that is dodecahedral in nature. The shape's pentagonal faces was used to hold explosive lenses in place. The dodecahedron was chosen for its ability to focus different wavelengths of the explosive force to detonate a core of layered explosives.
The shape is in the shape. I mean, come on, now be fair. How many shapes are there? I I don't even.
Is designed to control the harmonics of an explosive wave, amplifying the wave so that it creates the biggest possible explosion. Modern rocket propulsion, rocket engines utilize the harmonics of that explosion to control the thrust vector of the rocket. When an explosion happens, the explosive lens reflects the explosion back in to a focal point. This creates directed force lines in the shape of a vector equilibrium. The vector equilibrium is a term coined by Buckminster Fuller. Bucky coined it because the vector lines are equal in length from the center of the shape. All of the lines that point towards the center are equally distant from the center. Right after the explosion, if we overlay the exact same vector equilibrium over the post-explosion critical mass, we see that it fits right within the hexagon created by the vector equilibrium, that internal hexagon.
It looks like a cake.
This is the most deadly cone you will ever see. This is an explosive lens system used to focus explosive waves when detonating one of those. The arrangement is an octagon.
I'm having a moment. I have to remember. I kind of think I know where he's going with this. Shoot. Why am I having... Shoot. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait to make sure... I shouldn't put the cart before the horse, but... Okay.
And if you have geometrics, you know that it is the harmonious representation of the physical world. The lenses themselves are shaped in a way to create aberration, or the focusing of a wave. Here is what it looks like on a Wi-Fi antenna. The lens uses the angles of phi, or the golden ratio, to create a shape called the cardioid, or the heart of mathematics. Doing this creates a focused beam of waves 180 degrees, exactly the opposite direction of the initial wave. When it does this, it creates a beam of energy backwards, while the turbulence of the wave creates the fractal patterns seen in the Mandelbrot set. In the Mandelbrot set, each...
Okay, so... Zernike polynomials are the aberrations that screw up having LASIK, okay? And if you have too many of them, it makes things very annoying, very blurry. You can have aberrations in the lens of your glasses, and I wonder if he wears glasses. Probably, I don't think I've seen him wear glasses. You might wear glasses, Sean, if you wear glasses. If you've ever had like a warp in your glasses, that's an aberration. That's an aberration. And you're brilliant. You're so brilliant. You're wicked smart. And I understand that we can't know everything and what have you, but no. 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 It's a case of overthinking. It's cool. It's a deep rabbit hole. I love the Mandelbrot. I think it's really great. I've got a really cool picture that a girlfriend gave me a long time ago, like when the internet first came out. It took a really long time to print and create and stuff. It was a deep dive into it. It was really cool. It's a beautiful image. I love it. I've got 2 of them and I love them. But no on the lenses. No on the aberration. And think about when it came out. I mean, how many people were running around with glasses? I'm not saying that glass wasn't lathed or glass wasn't used, you know, but it still wasn't super commonly used. And people weren't running around wearing glasses back then. Of course, they were looking at the stars, and they probably did have telescopes. So maybe so that was a thing. But I think we're just pushing it a little too. I think we're overthinking this one. But I mean.
Focal bulb creates an infinite amount of Julia fractal spirals. It's another fractal that the Mandelbrot set contains, and they are chaotic little spirals. The force then sequentially detonates the core, harmonically scaling the explosion to deadly proportions. Now, Pythagoras may have been onto something with the secrecy. Speaking of atoms, these are the wildest shapes that you're going to see today. They're called spinors. Spinors are mathematical objects used to describe the spin states of particles. Quantum entanglement describes a physical phenomenon where the states of particles are correlated. When you rotate one of these 360 degrees, it doesn't return to its original shape. You have to rotate it 720 degrees for it to make a full rotation back into its same shape. So imagine a particle like an electron. That electron, if enclosed in a hypothetical dodecahedron spinner, would have a way for all other particles around it to know its location in space and be able to determine its position through the entangled spin direction. Important note here, spin direction isn't a vector like up or down or going in any direction. It's a rotational property like a vortex. Now let's apply the same method to something like a planet. If you encase the globe in a dodecahedron, you get the division of the sky into the zodiac by almost all of the ancients. The stars have always been how humans determine their location in relation to other things on the earth, even though some stars may not be visible during the year.
This is very abstract as far as like, and I appreciate, wanting to really like do a deep dive and really, come up with an idea for the dodecahedron, but we are so not focused on the dodecahedron here. I mean, shapes and geometry, yes. In general, yes. But the dodecahedron itself? I mean, really? I mean, does anybody else? I mean, this is just a lot. And I think it's way more, I think it's way simpler than that. And because we've just, I don't know, I'm halfway through it and I'm pretty sure that I don't need to continue with this at all. Ooh, I mean, I'll come back and look at that later. That looks like a cool thing to maybe, I don't know. I like shapes and I like things, but no, I'm at a loss what we're thinking here, but so there was somebody who came up with an idea or did a measurement on it. I guess this tracks the phases of the moon precisely. And so they were thinking that maybe it was like a farmer's thing. But if it was a farmer's thing, wouldn't it have been found around, I don't know, farmers? It was not. And we failed to mention that in the beginning of this whole thing, but they're commonly found around tombs of women, in the tombs of women, with women, in women of higher status, and or on battlefields. And I believe that they are all pretty much made of metal, so why would they be on battlefields? My take is that they were melted down to become weapons to take out what it was used for to bring in people. And the fan is coming on. I have to hurry because it's really loud. Oh God, I'll pause it. I hate pausing this, but it's so loud. So I found where the gentleman, or where a gentleman, shocking it's a man, talks about it in terms of farming and lunar calendar, and yeah.
So what twigged me was another video by another content provider, link below, who pointed out that they weren't Roman dodecahedrons, they were Celtic. And then as soon as he said that, light bulb went off and I realized what this thing probably is. So, December, that's the 12th month, right? Dec, that's 10. Nov, Ember, Nov, that's 9. October, that's 8. Romans had 10 months in their calendar up to Julius Caesar. They were sloppy calendar keepers. And they just considered winter as like a block. So although they did have 12 months and had names and all that good stuff, they weren't totally into the calendars. They were city-bound people. So they were really not in a frame of mind like the ancients, the real ancients were when it came down to calendars. So if you imagine Stonehenge, what's that? It's a calendar. All the ancient peoples, the Aztecs, what did they build? Blooming great calendars. Why? Because if you don't plant at the right time, you starve. So if you're a Celt and you're a farmer
And
or
if
a
you want to
marginal
make
land,
air, you
boy, have you really got
basically
to know the calendar. So how do you know when to plant? Well, it's 2 weeks after the full moon, just before spring. You've got to know the moons, and the calendar is the moons. So that was the idea I suddenly realized. So what are these things? Well, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I don't really want to waste your time by taking the long road. They're calendars. Now, the knobs on the bottom are so you can set the blooming things up on a flat surface and check the calendar. And you can put them on a shelf and keep track of which month you're in and which moon you're on. So that's what these things are for. They are effectively portable calendars, or you could look at them as being basically farmers' calendars.
Because it was farmers that needed to keep track of the moons.
Because
not the women who happened to have a menstrual cycle, that happened to be involved with baby making. It was nice to know when you weren't going to do it and when you were, so you could plan. Because men kept forcing women to be the ones who were responsible. If they weren't having babies, they were barren. It had nothing to do with sperm count or viability of sperm at all. In fact, men had nothing to do with pregnancy. They just boinked a woman and it was magic. She either did or didn't based on her decision. And she decided if it was a boy or a girl. Okay, but you can farm. And you understand seeds. But you don't understand seeds. Because boys are dumb. Boys are painful sometimes. But you're missing, I don't know why women just don't even like the whole like menstrual cycle thing is like, it just doesn't even come onto the radar. The holes on it are between 4 and 11 centimeters. Any mothers out there? Any midwives? Doulas? OBGYNs? Anybody? Anybody? Please, anybody, speak up. And help me out here, because these were meant to track menstrual cycles. Again, they were meant to track menstrual cycles. Yes, they followed the moon. Sure, you could double it. Sure, you can borrow it from the farm. They weren't found with farmers. They were found with women. Again, they were found on the battlefield. Why? Probably because they were melted down. They were made of cast metal. They were turned into the weapons to take out the people that they probably brought in to the world. Somebody, anybody, help me out here, because the boys are wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry, Sean. Sorry, older gentleman here. But yeah, these were menstrual cycle calendars, guys. Somebody help me out, please.